Hey, everybody, welcome to our little show where we like to dive deep into the world of electronic music, innovation, and the artists that are pushing the boundaries of sound. I'm your host, Alexandra, and today we have something unique, first of its kind, virtual back-to-back DJ set created by two incredible techno DJs, one from the USA and the other from the Netherlands. They collaborated remotely without ever meeting in person. And we're going to break down how they made it happen, the challenges, the creative process, and what this means for the future of DJing. So let's get into it, guys.
Hey, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, here we have Brandon Robertson, Octo and dear friend Robert Seegers from the Netherlands, RBS. So Robert, let's start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? Like, how did you get into DJing? When did you start?
I'm starting DJing at the age of 17 or 18 or so, and after visiting your first warehouse dance event, and then I was very impressed about the resonation of the speakers in the building. Well, and that impressed me. And then I saw the DJ, and I was thinking, okay, I want to do that too. And then first I bought my first gear, very cheap, of course, because yeah, when you're 18, you don't have enough money for the expensive stuff. And from there, yeah, we started in the bedroom and doing crazy stuff with records and so on and so on. And from there, it started to get a little bit bigger at birthday parties, at weddings, and so on and so on. And now we're here talking to each other. America versus the Netherlands.
I didn't know it was versus. I thought it was a combined
Well,
effort.
these days it seems like
whatever you.
Yeah.
It's a little touchy right now.
Oh, okay, it's not first. It's okay, yeah, indeed. But back to back, and Brandon initiated it, and yeah, we're both happy to do so. So yeah.
Awesome. And what about you, Brendan? What got you started?
Actually, my story is almost nearly the same thing. Believe it or not, I was a trained musician, not used to it. A friend of mine said, "Hey, you got to check this out." So I went to a rave party, and I was like, same thing. Heard the huge sounds, like music being produced with noises and rhythms and stuff that was just so different from what I was used to. And I was like, oh, immediately hooked. And I was about 17 as well. And I'm a few months later, I bought my own, also cheap, junky version of DJing gear, but it at least got me started. And then as time progressed, I kept getting better and better stuff. And again, now here we are in 2025. I never stopped liking techno. I did take a huge break in DJing for about 25 years, but I never stopped listening. So that's kind of where I got my start.
That's awesome. And you've been back doing it for how long then?
Me, about a year or a little over a year, almost a year and a half. We're getting there.
Okay, cool. And then Robert, you kind of kept doing it the whole time.
No, actually, when the kids came, then we had a 12-year break. So it was the room where my little studio was. We need to break it up because it became a kids room. And from there, we didn't have the space to set up another studio. And a couple of years ago, we moved to another place, and now we have enough space. So yeah, 12 years, small kids, you know what it means.
Oh
It's baby
yeah, I'm
feeding, diapers changing, and so on and so on. No sleep at all, and yeah, that's why I took a little break.
Yeah, no sleep at all. Continuing the techno dream, I guess.
Yeah, indeed. But actually, I always started to then we go. I use software to create some mixes, so the blood is still creeping where you want it, where you don't want it, and then okay, let's do it another way because I don't have the gear, but you want to create a mix, and then you use software.
Mm-hmm.
But doing it with hands, it's much more easier to do so. It's much more nicer to do so. It's just feeling the knobs of your gear in adjusting stuff.
Yeah, I think even as
Yeah.
an observer, I don't make music, but observing somebody, using gear and knobs, like I like to touch all of that when I see it. I'm like, even just pushing buttons, like it's I think it makes the experience that much more real for the performer and for the people viewing it
Mhm.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's I guess between the two of you, I don't know how you guys even know each other. I mean, what sparked the idea to do a virtual back-to-back set? Like how did that come about?
Go ahead, Robert, because I'm not sure. Actually, I mean, I know how I know you. We basically just connected through Instagram and mutual Instagram friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like that. And then we both came into the WhatsApp group of Let You Unite, you know? And from there, I thought we were, yeah, for some reason we had a click. I don't know why, I don't know what. And then Brandon popped up privately, let's call it like that. And then he asked me the question, Robert, do you want to do a back-to-back with me? And I thought, that's a cool idea. And then we made some Zoom meetings in, okay, how do we go with it? How do we start with it? Who's going to start with it? Make some, how do we call it? Some bullet points to okay, what we need to hold on to in BPM, in what style, in what techno genre, hard techno, hard groove, peak time, and then we check the dots, and we from there we started actually.
Yeah, and imagine it's pretty different than doing it when you're in person. I mean, how does virtually really compare doing a back-to-back set in person? Or I mean, what like if you had to pick out the one major difference, I guess.
Should I answer it?
Oh,
no, sorry, I can start here on that one and say, I think Robert, I started, didn't I? I'm the first one. I forgot about it, but I think what the big difference for me is like to kind of get into the vibe of his stuff. I would have to listen to it a couple of times, his portion of the mix, to kind of like feel like what I'm going to do next. Like if you're in person, it's a little bit easier. You know, someone's like mixing and you're both kind of vibing off of each other back and forth in the moment, I think is how most people would describe it, I think. But this one I had to like listen a couple times. I'm like, okay. And then what I did was I would listen to it, or at least a portion of it, right before I go and do my mix, so I can kind of remember the feeling and the vibe that he had created, so that mine would fit with what he's doing. So how was it for you, Robert?
Yeah, actually the same. And to be honest, I made a pre-selection of, let's say, 60 or 80 tracks beforehand. I thought, okay, we discussed hard groove, that's what it's going to be. So I selected 80 tracks or so. That's what I wanted to use. And when it's first 15 minutes, let's call it like that, it came in, I listened to it. I cut off the last 2-3 minutes. That's what we agreed on. Okay, let's cut the last 2 or 3 minutes, and from there we start. And actually, I think we did it pretty fast.
Okay, I mean, so when you went into it, I mean, obviously you're doing it for enjoyment, but were you feeling hesitant to get into it at all, to do it this way? Did it seem like it was a weird concept to start, or you feel like you wouldn't be able to work with each other this way?
I didn't know exactly how it would come together for sure, but Robert had actually a better vision. He laid out the bullet points. He was like, okay, I think I got it. And this is, we do this, and this. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I took lead from you more. So.
Oh, I was dominating you. Sorry for that.
No, you were not dominating. You had all the great ideas. You thought through it way more than I did. Because I think actually when I pitched the idea, I was thinking, oh, we just do kind of half and half, like half a set and then yours half. But you're like, no, let's do it like this. And I was like, oh, that's way better. And more work, but it's a better outcome and better experience and more true to, a real back-to-back set for sure.
Yeah, okay. Normally, because the back-to-back that I did was mostly, okay, there is a guy doing 3-4 tracks, playing, mixing, and after that you do, or I did 3-4 tracks, and from there. So that's why we came up, okay, let's do it 15 minutes to have a starting point. And that's why we have chosen for 15 minutes, is because you need to get into the vibe. And you need to take the vibe of the first 15 minutes from Brandon in this case, and then I have to put 15 minutes for me, and we need to put it together. But to get almost the same vibe, you have to have more than 2 or 3 tracks because you're not physical together.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I
And
think it would be
that's why
very hard to
it's
do.
very.
Yeah, shorter, like 2, 3, or 4 tracks. I think that would be almost impossible remotely anyway.
Yeah.
So there was kind of like a mix technically of what you're doing. There was like some track trading, some pre-thought out stuff, and then would you also record things and then send them back, you were saying? So you'd record and then you'd kind of flip it back and then
Yep.
okay, interesting.
Yeah, so we ended up deciding would do 2 hours, about 15 minutes each. And so we'd record our 15 minutes, send it to, each person.
Okay.
That way we could hear where we were going with it and all that, and make sure we don't use the same tracks also, which would be important.
That'd be hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
And even what was much more surprising during this virtual back-to-back is because we didn't discuss any tracks beforehand. So only hard groove, that's what we stick to. And then it was really a surprise sometimes. His next 15 minutes, he sent it them. What is it going to be? And sometimes in the middle of the first, it was, he needs to transition from mine to his, so that's why this track. And then where's he going right now? That's way different than I would expect in this. And that was the nice of it, because you get different influences of techno, hard groove techno.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then, this is your definition of hard groove. Mine, I think it was this one. We need to adjust to that one.
Yeah, so I think we still had that element of like a real B2B where, what he plays influences me and what I play influences him a little bit, for sure. I was surprised too. I was like, oh yeah, I wouldn't have picked that one, but that's a good track too. And pushes it in a little bit slightly different direction. I mean, genres are fluid. Yeah. They're not precise, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, maybe just touch more on the technicality of it then. I mean, do you guys use similar software even? Or, I mean, like, what did you do to ensure the smooth transitions? Because there's a lot of software available.
That's correct.
So based on your faces, it seems like you're using different systems.
We do. Yeah. We both use different, totally different, like DJ software and stuff, which ultimately I don't think mattered. Robert was the one that basted it all together in his basically a digital audio workstation. So ultimately we were just recorded it as audio tracks, and then he would merge it together and do all the cutting and overlapping, all that. So he did most of the work on the back end, thankfully. Thanks, Robert. RBS.
Robert, I guess you have a lot of experience with the engineering, like sound engineering part of it. Do you have a background in that at all?
No. Okay. Totally not. Actually, I like software, but in audio engineering, I'm not that experienced. But because we agreed on certain points, it was quite easy to overlap them.
Mm-hmm.
We had an agreement. The last 5 minutes, I already told that the last 5 minutes needs to be the whole track, because then the one who takes over can pick a point of that track where he starts his set of his next 15 minutes. So that's why and that's what we all have written. And when Octo was done, he written, that's where I stopped. You can create a transition from there. And from there, I picked it up and started with my set. So then I know where to cut it and put in my piece of the set. Yeah,
that sounds like a really good way to do it, actually. That's very logical process. I like that.
And even also what I did, but also Octo, is your ending BPM is determined in is the most important thing in creating this kind of thing. You don't need to pitch up during the end of your last track, because then you're and then you're then you need to start over again. So that's what we discussed on. That the last 5 minutes BPM must be set. We need to communicate this with each other, and from there the other one can pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just to make it through the process really well. Let me put it that way.
It sounds really good.
And it worked out. I was like, oh, man, this is going to be maybe not go as well as it planned, but it came together perfect. Like we were in the same room ultimately.
That's cool.
I
I mean,
am.
so just about being in the
Sorry.
same room, like, did you guys, like, I mean, how were you even communicating? Were you actually ever working on things at the same time? Were you like texting or videoing or just email, like just all, on your own? And then later, I mean, what did that look like physically?
There is one thing. There's a time difference. of,
Big time difference.
and actually, no. Mostly we agreed on okay. Let's do the meetings almost near the end of the day for Brandon, and begin evening for me. So then we have a decent time to discuss some stuff when needed. WhatsApp we used, Zoom we used in for to discuss some topics. But actually, it was quite short, right? I can't imagine we had long meetings.
Not really. I think our first, we talked probably an hour on the first Zoom call, but we also chit chatted a lot. So
Yeah,
and then after that was mostly, I mean, his plan was good enough that it pretty much worked out the whole way through. We didn't have to coordinate too much. Mostly it was just, hey, I uploaded my set, check it out. And then we used like Google Docs so that we could put in what tracks we played and the BPMs and kind of see it all, so that whenever he had the chance to go and do his side, my side, it was already in there. And so we weren't like on a, like, oh, you got to do it today, you got to do it tomorrow, just whenever it worked for our schedules kind of thing. So
yeah. And that's what we also agreed. Okay, the schedule needs to let us do it. But whatever, I always try to challenge myself to it. Okay, let's take it as a real back to back. I don't have much time.
yeah.
So I listened to his, because after 1 hour and 50 minutes, you know what's in the past, what is done of that set. So okay, now I can use that one. When Brandon sent it, okay, I uploaded it. I always try to make it as short as possible to create my piece. So to make it more, yeah, how you call it? I don't know how to call it.
Keep the vibe.
You need to keep the vibe, but also to yourself, because you're in that state, and that's what the hardest thing is during this one. Um, it's easily to get distracted by other music. Let's call it like that. I also like hard techno, for example. And in that WhatsApp group, so somebody, Robert, could you please, for the end of the month, we need to stream on a site that one. It needs to be hard techno. Yeah, but in my mind, I'm doing hard groove right now. So you need to you need to scale off the one thing and scale up the other thing, and that was most hard to do. So you understand what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of how I am too. Is I get into several week long periods of like, oh, I'm playing this type of techno, and then all of a sudden I'll switch and all that. So it makes sense totally.
I mean, it sounds for like the most part, it was pretty seamless. I mean, was there anything that worked out worse than you expected? It kind of seems like everything was like, oh, worked out better. Everything was great. I mean, was there some kind of element of it that you're like, oh, damn.
The big mistake for sure, but
I keep out of that one. That's what he can explain by himself.
Well, we actually ended up recording two, but the first one, my audio interface that records it accidentally got switched to mono recording, which is a problem, and we didn't realize it until we were completely done. So we were like, okay, well, this worked. It's just we got to redo it because his is all in stereo and mine's in mono, and it wouldn't sound right by any means. So that was the big one. But on my side, after we figured out that issue, I taped the switch down, by the way, on that audio interface. So we'll never flip back to mono because there's no reason I'll ever record in mono. But I think if my side was pretty seamless. He was doing all the editing, so you might have another side of the story.
No, the only thing we and didn't agree on, and that's what the most difficult was, is because Brandon is using an interface because he can't record directly on a system, and I can. And what came out is that my recordings were a lot louder in volume, but also in stereo and so on than Octo set, or Brandon set. So during my cut and paste action, I noticed that one. So I need to lower my volume to make it all correct. And after that, we know a guy who can master all the stuff, and he did the total magic of it to make it sound the sound difference not too much and level it all. So we sent it all to him, and he mastered it and sounded it in the way you would expect.
Yep, it's very good.
Would you think it would be perceptible, say, to someone listening, say who's really into music and who's really has that great ear for sound? Like, do you think if they were hearing this as a B2B set, would they be able to pick out? I mean, this is obviously in your opinions. Would they be able to pick out that you weren't actually playing it live or playing it together? They would maybe divine that you hadn't actually been doing it actively together.
I don't think no. I don't think they notice the difference because that's the most. No, let's call it the other way. DJing is quite easy, but knowing what you're doing, if you listen to the set in how it goes into energy, it goes up and it goes down and it goes up and it goes down. Actually, if you listen to the set, in my opinion, you can actually feel. That's why I think of our set. Okay, the DJ is watching the floor. The seeing, okay, the people are getting constantly the same beat. They need to rest for a moment because they're getting tired. They need to drink. They need to go to the toilet. And so on. Let's lower down the energy of the set. And let's take that at 10, 15 minutes. And from there, someone else, if it's Brandon or me, it doesn't matter. You need to judge by yourself. Then the energy is going up for some reason. And it's automatically. And that's what I always discuss with people. DJing is not hard to do so because I think everyone can create a set, but the fluctuating of the energy during that set, that's the most important thing. You need to tell them a small story, and this story is 2 hours long, okay? But in this case, you can hear the difference and the energy levels in that set.
Mm-hmm.
And is someone hearing it that it's done not live? I don't know. That's always a discussion.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to it at 8 in the morning. I loved it. Not 8 this morning. When he shared it with me a while ago. I loved it, and I could totally relate to what you're saying. It was great. Like, yeah.
Thanks. Thank you.
And what I liked during this cooperation, during this back-to-back, is that it grew automatically.
Yep.
We don't have any discussion. Even Brandon asked me, "Oh, Robert, where do you want to start me? Please do what you want." And it was the other way around. What do you want? Start and let's see. We're open. Actually, if he was putting some drum and bass into it, it would be fine by me too, because that was the vibe at that moment. And actually, that's what it's all about. You need to feel it, and then let's do it because maybe I can pick up something new.
I mean, do you think that this way of doing things kind of opens up possibilities in terms of electronic music for international collaborations? Do you think it would be something that a lot more DJs would want to get onto?
I think so. I actually, after doing this, I had such an exciting time. I have actually done a few more with some other people. I do hope that maybe one day we'll do another one at some point.
I'm open.
Yeah,
I'm open for that one. So yes.
Yeah, that kind of eats up my next question, I guess. I was thinking, I mean, you would obviously do another one. You've already done some. Let's just say it's the two of you, because you liked your process. Now, having come through it, would you have changed anything? Would there be different bullet points? Would there be a different methodology? Like, if you could, kind of tweak it a bit, would you, or it's perfect?
That's a really good question, because at this point, I have one remark for myself. I need to lower my volume, my recording volume. And that's actually the remark that I made for myself. Okay, when I do this again, because the guy who was mastering all the stuff was telling me, okay, Robert, your level is not too much, but he's tipping to it. If you do the level, let's call, you have green, orange, and red. And I was tipping orange. That's what my remark was. Okay, when I do it again, I need to lower my recording volume. Otherwise, there's not much more to play for someone who needs to do some enhancements afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that stuff I didn't know about until afterwards, when you were like, "Oh yeah, just so you know, I had to turn mine down a bunch." I was like, "Well, that makes sense." I know my because I have to record through a audio interface. It kind of changes the levels a little bit and stuff. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, knowing that he does it this way, Brennan, that kind of inspire you. Have you gone on to the gear nuttery now? Seeing that the way
Yeah, possibly. I'm thinking about making a switch here sometime soon to still not what he's using, but something else like tracking.
There are other options.
Yeah, too many.
That works also. Yeah. It's an investment. It's not cheap, and that's the other thing. Yeah. When it's a hobby, then it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the classic story. There's some kind of acronym for the syndrome. It's like I don't know. It's like gear accumulation syndrome or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Like, do you have anyone else? I mean, if you could think of somebody that you would like to do a set with, exclusive of each other, if you could just pick any DJ that you like, local, international, whomever, who would really interest you to do this with, given the opportunity.
Yeah, I have someone in mind. But I also listen before I agree on something. I also listen to sets of somebody.
Yeah.
Brendan, now you know.
Oh,
And then
I passed the test.
yeah, I have some options, but I won't tell you any names.
Yeah.
All right, Brendan,
Leave it a surprise.
a fantasy name you can throw out there that no one's going to be.
Well, yeah, if I have my fantasy pick that people who probably will never talk to me, I would obviously do Richie Hott, my favorite out there. Yeah, or maybe Clar or Dax. Both of them, I like their style too. Different than Richie, but yeah, maybe they'll see this and be like, "Shit, why not?"
Richie calls you
but I didn't. But then I didn't the question correctly because I thought someone from our area or so. But if you in that case, if it's already a famous DJ, then I would go for Klankkunstler. I think that's what that would be so nice because did you know he's really into Schans hard techno at this moment? But if you look at the beginning where he started with, he's really the easy going house music, hip hop kind of stuff. And now he's into that one. So his music is knowledge is very broad. And then I was thinking, okay, if you can mix everything, then I would actually dare him to do it back to back with.
All right, so we should get it out there again. We'll put like some kind of comment if you want to. I dare you. Take me on.
But that you'll always need to be hopeful. Let's call it like that. But in my opinion, I think their schedule is so busy that you never know. But you never know.
Cool. Well, I mean, let's think about that in terms of what your experience is then a little bit more. And I mean, I think you've given some pretty good points already about, listening to sets and even just being able to communicate with the person that you're choosing to do this with. Do you have any other advice that you would give to DJs who are wanting to try something like this? Like, don't really know where to start.
And now I'm getting a little bit Dutch in my answer. Don't get cocky. That's my own, but that's my own remark. And don't think you know better than the other side because you never know where he came, what he delivers you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. Brandon always texts me. Okay, I done my piece. If you have any remarks, please let me know. No, because we agreed on we do it back to back. If we were live together, I even don't know what you're doing up front. So that's what I need to accept. So what I told you, when there is some drum and bass, this last track is where I need to adjust on, then I will do that. You understand? So that's why don't get cocky. Don't tell me what you don't want. Don't tell them what you do want. But accept as it comes, and from there you're gonna need to.
Yeah, my advice would be it's definitely technical. Robert probably doesn't realize, but you pretty much taught me how this needs to go down for it to work from a technical standpoint. And having now done it with a couple other people, I haven't released those mixes yet. I had to keep telling them like, oh wait, I need this part, I need that last BPM. Why? I'm like, because I can't mix into it properly without it. I need the track name, I need that, or I need the track itself. So it was a lot of little things that I realized. I was like, I'm thankful that Robert really has this dialed in. So he made it real easy, in my opinion. He made it easier than you realize.
It's the Dutch mentality, as he calls it. He can't help it.
Yeah.
The structure that you're referring to. That's good, though. I mean, everyone brings something. And if that's what you're naturally bringing, that's very helpful to people who wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Actually, it's really strange because that they don't understand. Now we're getting my opinion, and this is what you always need to be careful about, because actually you have a blueprint and send it to him, and what's not to get in that blueprint? Yeah, and I know you did. I think I think you did, and it would be wise. So that's what's hard to understand for the other side. Really don't get it. But
the one thing you didn't put in the blueprint was check to make sure you're recording in stereo.
The most basic, but that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm kidding.
It seems like it brought you together more. So that's
Yeah.
that happened. You said it was 4 hours. Is that what you said originally? That
Ultimately, yeah, because we did 2-hour back-to-back sets, and I don't think we even used the same tracks the second time around.
No,
Right.
because I watched that and I didn't want to do that because it's a new set. It's a new back-to-back. So that's why 81 files we sent to each other. Woo.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what the outcome. I mean, I guess maybe how that first set shaped even your second set.
Nope.
Or in terms of the experience doing it, I guess is what I'm referring to. And I wonder if that affected the second set and how you modified your behavior. Or maybe it didn't. I don't know. I wasn't there.
For me, it didn't, because I know what he was capable of to do so. So that's why I'm feeling comfy in that one. And let's go further. That's why it was actually no discussion to start on the second back-to-back.
Yep. I felt bad for causing the problem, but yeah, I was more confident. I was like, oh yeah, he knows how to DJ. His process is working. Mm-hmm. So when he was like, yeah, let's redo it, and I was like, thankfully, because I'm having a lot of fun and I'm anxious to get a real one of these out.
Yeah.
So, and he forgave me for the mono stereo mistake.
Yeah, that's what you think. No.
No one seems for the wear.
Post on the wall, I throwing darts at me.
What would you change about this? Never do it with Brandon again.
Yeah.
So speaking of this, then I guess where can we listen to it? I mean, I got my own personal copy, but where can everyone else listen to the set? Like, do you have upcoming projects, performances, things that you individually want to share?
Robert, you got upcoming performances. Let's hear about those too.
I had last week one in Rotterdam, and it was not quite. It was just a normal cafe, and they had a bar. Let's call it like that. The cafe is way different, but it was a bar where I performed old school hardcore. That was also nice to do so. And the next one is on the 5th of April. It's in my city, and that's going to be a very hard one. That's really
nice.
Yeah, that's really. I can't give you a preview and where it's going to, but it's really getting noisy.
That's great. And what about the set that you guys were talking about? Do you guys have it like where is it posted?
Well,
I guess
it's going to end up on both of our SoundClouds, I think, is what we agreed on. And then I have a domain which you might be able to see, octoplusmusic.com. And I always put any important links, so I'll make sure anybody can link over to his socials and stuff as well, besides just his SoundCloud. But yeah, that's where the easiest way to find it. But Octoplus on SoundCloud for me.
Okay.
And you on what's your SoundCloud? Is it RBS?
Yeah, no. It's just my normal name, as you see in the bottom. Actually, I really don't know. It will be posted. So
yeah, wherever you're seeing this video, there should be a link.
Well, I just want to say thank you to the both of you. This is pretty fun, pretty enlightening. It was kind of, I mean, again, I don't make the music, but it's interesting to see how it came together. It seemed like you guys had a really good rapport. That's nice to see, that not even knowing each other, you could, pull this off. And honestly, I did listen to the set. I loved it. It was wicked. And it just, for anyone who's going to listen, it just starts right away. It's pretty full on. It's everything you want from techno, that's for sure. Yeah, it's good. It's great. again, despite the physical distance, like everything came together so smoothly. And I really want to thank both of you for your time today and giving such
Thank you
wonderful
too.
answers.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You saved me a lot of question asking. So you're such wonderful responses that went well beyond. So thank you for that. And then to anyone else, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, actually, that was our first meeting too, because we agreed on time and date, and then Brendan threw out the link for the meeting, and then we started, and we were discussing actually for 1.5 hours about nothing, and then, oh yeah, we need to discuss our set too. Oh yeah, 15 minutes, pop, 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 done.
Great. Well, I mean, I think it gives the vibe anyways. That someone
Yeah.
who will listen to it, they'll understand where you're both coming from.
Yep.
And then I guess anyone who's watching this, really be sure to check out the set. You'll love it if you're remotely interested in any kind of techno, which I'm sure you are since you're watching this. Yeah, follow both of them, check out what they have, and we'll be looking forward to another B2B set from the two of you. It seems like that's pretty much a definite on the table at this point.
Think so. Yeah.
Firstly, he needs to finish the ones that he agreed on with the other people.
Yeah. Yeah. They're pretty much done, but they're just not.
Okay. That's good.
But yeah. And who knows? Maybe we'll do a real one. I certainly hope to come to the Netherlands. I was going to do it come to the Netherlands for King's Day, but my health is not supporting that right now. So maybe the next King's Day or ADE.
Actually, yesterday, Oscar from Let's Take You Unite contacted me, and okay, you can do you can have a King's Day in the Netherlands. It's one day. Almost every one is having a day off. Everyone is dressed in orange, as Brendan is doing right now.
Hilarious.
I'm ready.
And that's really crowded. Everywhere is crowded. And in Amsterdam, that's really, people are getting crazy in a real positive way. And I could have a gig on that day, but my kids are a little bit more important than DJing, so that's why I didn't go.
That's good. I feel like there's a solid amount of life lessons. Be humble. You know, don't get cocky. Family first. Make friends, not war. I guess that's another one.
Yeah.
Protect your ears.
Oh yeah, protect your ears. Yeah, okay.
I keep the music going. That was the main life.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right.
Okay. You.
Bye.
Bye.